Okay, so the ellipse, as we have noted, starts out really simple. You should be able to look up here at this equation. This is problem D, 1D in 8.2. You should be able to look at this and tell me where the vertex is, or excuse me, where the center is. Where is the center? Well, oh no, you can go back. We're doing notes now. I mean, I don't care. You didn't care to sit by it, that's fine. What is the center? 0, 3. Perfect. Come on, guys, you need to get those turned in. Let's go. Staple your graph if you use it. Okay, everybody okay with 0, 3? Why is it 0? There's no parentheses, so that means 0. There's nothing there, so that's 0. Now, what does the 16 tell me?
Left and right 4.
Left and right 4. Remember, you always take the square root, and whatever letter it's under, that's the direction you go. So I'm going to start at my center, put your pencil on your center, and go left 4 and right 4. And then label those points. So, if you go left 4, where does your pencil end up? Negative 4, 3. If you go right 4, it ends up at 4, 3. Those are 2 of your vertices. Our center is at 0, 3, and now we're finding our vertices. What does this 9 tell me? Up 3, down 3 from the center. So if I start at my center and go up 1, 2, 3, label that point. What point is that if you count straight up 3 boxes from your center?
0, 6.
0, 6. And then go straight down 3, and that actually puts us at the origin. Those 4 points are your vertices. Now, just like the quiz you just took, nobody's going to be grading that graph. Over to the side, it's going to say, what are the vertices? And you're going to list those 4 points. Those are the vertices. Got it? That's pretty easy. Also easy is, this guy right here is the longest axis. He's called the major axis. How long is he? How long is that major axis? 8? Why is it 8? Because we went 4 each direction. What are you doing over there?
Stretching my shoulder.
Oh, okay. We went 4 each way? Now, what about the minor axis? How long is that? 6? Because I don't think that's hard. I think I think it's easy to this point. Now things get a little bit harder because you also have to find your foci, which are 2 points. And the points, anybody remember where they are located generally? They're located on the major axis. So they're back here somewhere. I don't know where. It doesn't matter. Just they're there somewhere. Now, how are you going to get those points?
Divided.
You're going to subtract your denominators and always square root.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the square root of 7. So I want you to put your pencil right here on your center, and I want you to move over the square root of 7. Now, you don't need to know what that value is. Just go over to this point, and that's the square root of 7, that distance. So what would this point be? If you started at 0, wouldn't it be the square root of 7, 3? And what about this one? If we backed up the square root of 7, negative square root of 7, 3. Kids, think about it like this. First of all, you're going this way, right? Which is an x thing. So your starting x is 0. You're gonna add the square root of 7 and subtract the square root of 7. Your y's haven't changed. That's it. Done. Problem finished. That's it. Those are your focus points right there. Those guys right there. All right, let's repeat the process with this one. Where's the center of this one? 1, 0. So everything starts at the center. So you're going to start at the center, and you're going to count sideways how many? 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on your graph paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what are those 2 points? If I count back and forth 7, those 2 points will be what? -6, 0? Isn't it -6, 0? And what's the other one? 8, 0. Perfect. You are counting. Okay, now what's this tell me to do? Up 3, down 3. So again, start at the center. 1, 2, 3. What point is that? If you start right here and go straight up. 3, where are you? 1, 3. And down 3 would put us at 1, -3. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots. I didn't do a very good job of that. That's an ellipse, right? Good thing nobody's grading my picture, ever. What's my major axis? How long? How long? 14. Kids, that's no mystery. What did we do? We started here and went 7 each way. So what is that? 14? What's this one? 6. And up and down 3. Perfect. Now here come these pesky foci. They're on this axis somewhere. You're not sure where, but they're on that axis someplace. And to figure out where, I need to know, I always start at my center. So I need to know, if I start at my center, how far forwards and backwards do I want to go? Well, tell me in this problem, that distance is going to be the square root of 40, which happens to be 2 radical 10. Speaking of that, I want to talk about something real quick. On one of the homeworks, it was a radius problem, and you got the square root of 26. That does not simplify. Remember, to simplify, you have to have 2 of something. Are there 2 of anything in that? No. So, this one does break down because 40 is 2 times 20, which is 2 times 10, which is 2 times 5. So there's 2 2's, but the 2 and the 5 don't. All right, so back to the point of the problem. What are my focus points then? You're starting right here. What is your x value right here? 1. And you're adding 2 root 10 and subtracting 2 root 10. That's what's happening. You're going sideways. So here's your starting point. Plus 2 root 10 this way, minus 2 root 10 this way. So that point right there is 1 minus 2 root 10, comma 0. And this one is 1 plus 2 root 10, comma 0. Kids always say, Miss Ford, how do you know that you're adding it? I get the plus or minus, but how do you know you're adding it to the x? It depends the direction you're going, right? If I'm going in the x direction, I'm adding it to the x. If I'm going up and down, I would add it to the y. All right, we got one more of those. All right, would you, while I'm getting ready here, would you see if you can find the center and the vertices and draw in that little ellipse. You already have it done, Samuel? Alright, so you can help me then. Where did you put your center?
Negative 1, 1.
Alright, are we in agreement with him that our center should be negative 1, 1?
Yep.
Alright, and then where did you put your vertices, Sam? How did you find those, Sammy?
Negative 3, negative 1.
Okay, so you're going sideways first.
Yeah.
So you said I'm gonna go sideways 2, so we counted over 2 here and said that is negative 3, 1. You started at his center and went 1, 2. And then this way, he went 1, 2, and where was that one?
1, 1.
1, 1. I think he's right. I think those are the sideways vertices. Right? Samaya? Okay. Now, this told him that he has to do what now? Up and down 3. From the center, always from the center. So, put your pencil on your center. 1, 2, 3. Where's this one?
1, negative 1, 4.
Negative 1, 4. And then 1, 2, 3.
Negative 1, negative.
Perfect. Now, does everybody have your picture? Does it look like that? Okay. So what's your major axis? How long is your major axis? Major? 6. Minor is 4. Good with that? This one is the major. It's the longest one, because that number's bigger, so I went up and down more. And that means that my focus points are on there someplace. So I need to know how, I'm gonna start at my center, and I'm gonna go up and down. How far am I gonna go up and down in this problem? Square root of 5. 9 minus 4. Always square root. 9 minus 4 is 5, square root of 5. So I'm starting at this point, and I'm going straight up the square root of 5. Now, if I'm going up, I'm gonna add and subtract root 5 from x or y, if I'm going up and down. Y. So I'm going to start right here and say, okay, this is the point negative 1, comma, 1 plus root 5, and negative 1, comma, 1 minus root 5. Start at your center point and go up and down root 5. So you're going to take your y coordinate, which is 1, and you're going to add root 5 to it, and you're going to subtract root 5 to it. And those are your focus points. Easy enough? Well, you knew this was coming, now we're going to go backwards. Look at 2A. I've done all those, yeah, 2A. 2A, they drew the picture for you, and you are going to write the equation. Now, remember, the equation of an ellipse has an x thing squared over a number, a y thing squared over a number, and it always equals 1. All of your ellipse and hyperbola equations will equal 1. All right, look at your picture there. Any ideas about anything? Jacob?
I have the whole equation.
Huh?
Whole equation.
You know the whole equation? Give me the numerator first.
Numerator's x minus 2 squared
X
plus
minus 2,
y minus 3 squared.
y minus 3. Everybody okay with that? That's the center. Okay, good. Now, how did you get the denominators, Jacob? You said you had those two also.
Depending on how much it goes left or right or up and down.
Okay.
Squared.
So this one went how far left and right?
4.
Okay, now guys, because it went this way 4, center, this way 4, that way 4, what number had to be under the X? 16. Because you square root that number to find out how far back and forth to go. Okay, so what's happening with the Y's? It looks like I'm going up and down 3, which means this number has to be a 9. That seemed pretty easy to me. Let's try the next one. We have an X thing squared, a Y thing squared, and it equals 1. So, Olivia, what do you have on top there? What do you have in your parentheses? X?
X plus 4.
Yep.
Y minus 2.
Perfect. Everybody good with that? Did you also get your denominators, Olivia?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, let's work on those. Let's see if we can figure out our denominators. Are they the same?
Yeah.
So,
16 and 9? Why is that a 16? Because I went sideways 4 and up and down 3. Oh no. Look at C. I'm gonna write my own equation again, but there's no picture, although there's room for me to draw one if I wish. So I think I'm just gonna start drawing. My center's at the origin. By the way, my equation's gonna look like this. If the center is at the origin, that means if I want to fill this in, I can put like minus zeros in there. But what else could I do?
Just X squared.
Just plain X squared and plain Y squared. So that's up to you guys, whatever you are most comfortable with. It is perfectly okay either way. The major axis is 6. The minor axis is 4. And the ellipse is vertical. So what that means is it's stretched vertically. So it's like this shape, as opposed to this shape. All right? Now, if we know it's vertical, and we know that its major axis is 6, what does that mean? Up and down 3? Does that make sense to you? And if I'm going up and down 3, then what has to be under my Y? A 9. And why is it under Y? Because I'm going up and down that much. And then sideways, my minor axis is 4, which means I'm going each direction 2, which means that number must be a 4. Well, that was as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Couldn't be the problem unless they told me it was vertical, because if all I know is the major and minor, I don't know which one's which, right? So that's why they told me it was vertical.
Do you have to do the minus 0?
No, I said you could do it
Oh,
either way. Yep. I don't care, it doesn't make a difference. I had my equation set up this way, so I went ahead and filled it with zeros, but you can write it down. All right, D, oh man. This looks a little tricky. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and write down my equation, x minus, or x something squared plus y squared equals 1. That's what my equation looks like. Let's see what we've got this time. We have the center at the origin again, so here we go again. The center's at the origin, so since I already have this, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in, but if you'd rather just write it this way, that's totally fine. The major axis is 10, and the foci are here. Okay, now wait a second. That actually gives me some important information. Those are not vertices. Those aren't vertices, those are foci. But what do I know about my focus points? they are always on the
Major axis.
major axis. So this has to be the major axis. And since the major axis is 10 units long, I must be going up and down 5, which means under Y must be 25. Okay, there's some real logic happening there. Let's back up. We got our center here. These are our foci. The foci are always located on the major axis. If this is 10, then that means I'm going up 5 and down 5 under the Y. Okay? I have no idea how far sideways I'm going. Anybody have an idea how I'm going to figure this out?
Take the foci equation and invert it.
Okay, so remember that the distance from the center to the focus is the big denominator minus the little denominator square rooted. Remember that? That's what we've been doing. Now, do I know the distance from the center to the focus? Yes, that distance is 3. Do I know my big denominator? Yes, it's 25. Mrs. Ford, how do you know that's the big one? Remember, this is the major axis, so that's going to be the big one. I do not know, I'm going to put an N here, I do not know that number. Can I solve that equation? I can. I'll square both sides. So 9 equals 25 minus N. What's that? 16. So you could either, actually solve it, or you can just kind of think about it. N is 16, so this number right here is a 16. Couple more. I know, it's Friday afternoon, we're getting tired. Big weekend coming up. If you're going to the prom, have fun. All right, 2 more problems, here we go. I'm writing an equation. I know my, wait. All I know is that my major endpoints are at -5, 0, and 5, 0. Wait, what does that tell me about my equation? If those are the endpoints of the major axis, that means whatever this ellipse looks like, it looks like that. What does that tell me? So it tells me the center is the origin again. Because isn't the center going to be the midpoint? It also tells me, since I'm going out 5 and back 5, that under the X is 25. And then they tell me that the minor axis is 4.
2 up and down.
So that means I'm going up 2 and down 2. Which means this number must be a 4. These things are easy. Okay, wait. The next one's not quite so easy. The next one, this is our last problem. Hang in there. Last one. It says, okay, major endpoints are at 1, -4, and 1, 8. These are the major endpoints. Does that give me any kind of information at all? What does it tell me? It tells me where my center is. My center gonna be in here somewhere?
1, 2.
1, 2, tell me how you got 1, 2.
In between 1, 8, and 1.
So it's the middle of -4 and 8. So you can either average them, or you might say, well, from -4 to 8 is a total of 12. So I'm gonna go up 6 or down 6. So somehow you got -1, -2 for your numerators. Would you agree with that? Now, also, since you went up 6 and down 6, what does that mean about this number right here? 36. Now, where you put that 36 is important. Why is it under Y? Up and down. Now, they also tell me that the minor axis is 8. It tells me that in the problem. So this distance is 8, which means this distance is 4, which means under the X is a 16. Remember, we square root it. There's your equation. You should feel very smart. Got a little bit more ellipse work to do, and then we'll start the hyperbola.